Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, head pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart, spend less time in your head. Just like a seed in a garden, you will grow to be tall, staring out over miles of land without it, but wanting to build up walls. Lift me up in your branches, we can watch the sunrise. Just a couple of bruised up souls that believe that it was worth one more try. With every start, we are born again. Open your heart and spend less time in your head. With every start, we are born again.
Hey everyone, so today I am at the Bull Hill Preserve, part of the Wyndham or Windham Land Trust, depending on how you want to pronounce it and what part of the country you're from as far as the pronunciation. It is a beautiful day today. It's in the upper 60s, low 70s. We've got a kind of a wind going, keeping it nice and cool. So should be no mosquitoes today, hopefully. And it's supposed to be just a beautiful scenic area. We are into fall now, we're into autumn, so that means I'm wearing my orange. Not sure if this area in Connecticut allows hunting or not, but at least it's where I'm from in Rhode Island. They have started their hunting season, so wearing of orange is required. And this time of year, no matter where I go, I wear it anyway for safety, because even if I wander off on private property, because sometimes the boundaries are not marked out once you get out in the woods, I want to be safe. The other thing you will notice is I'm actually wearing a neck buff today. The reason why I'm wearing it is not so much because of the mosquitoes, which I'm hoping that not going to be too many. I have to protect myself from the sun as much as possible so I don't get sunburn. The doctor put me on doxycycline. For those of you who know what doxycycline is, it's an antibiotic. So yes, I have been diagnosed with Lyme disease. They're not sure when I got contracted with the Lyme disease, because Lyme disease can lay dormant in your system for months or even years. However, I have my theories of when I actually got contracted for Lyme disease. About a year ago, I got bit by a tick on my thigh here after one of my fall hikes and photo shoots. The tick had only been on me for about an hour or two before I had noticed it. When I got home and got unchained, the tick never swelled up, and got the tick off me right away. But I noticed within like a day or two it had developed a really defined red ring around the bite area. So I had went to the urgent care back then, and the doctor who was on duty had said, no, that's not the classic Lyme disease bullseye. That is just an irritation of where the tick had bit you, and also possibly some other bacteria that was causing the irritation. To me, I was a little bit skeptical because I've never seen irritation from a tick bite like that before. Never seen the red ring, especially well-defined, solid outline. It wasn't like a rash or anything. It was, so anyway, back in October a year ago, they had given me a one-time dose of the doxycycline as a preventative. Last February or March, I had a lymph node in the back of my head swell up, and it was causing me to have headaches. So they sent me to get an ultrasound on it. I came back negative. They said there was nothing there. It was well within reasonable signs. So that means it was like no cancer or anything. You may have heard me talk about it in one of my trips. I think it was when I went to Heritage Park that I've talked about my lymph node. The swelling has gone down, but in recent months I have started to develop other joint pain. But I'm 52 years old. I've had my share of injuries. I've got osteoarthritis in my legs, so I just kind of like passed it off. But the doctor decided, you know, since I had the lymph nodes swell up, to go ahead and do what's known as a Lyme reflex test, which actually tests to see if I have the antibodies of ever having Lyme or ever being exposed to Lyme disease. They said that the test takes weeks to run. Now, within a day or two, they gave a preliminary report to my doctor that yes, Lyme antibodies were present, so I tested positive for Lyme disease. Then within probably about 2 or 3 days after that visit, they gave my doctor another report, which came back and said that my antibodies for Lyme disease were very elevated. The tests were very reactive, and even though they still haven't gotten the full results back, just based on the levels that came back within a week's time, that yes, they figured out that I pretty much have full-blown Lyme disease. So they put me on a 30-day dose of doxycycline, which I started today, and they told me I got to be very careful, especially out in the sun, because the doxycycline gets into your skin really fast and it can cause you to burn. So they got to make sure that I'm completely covered, have a hat on, protect my any exposed skin as much as possible. The trail I'm going on today is mostly shaded, so I'm not really worried about it. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it with the Lyme disease. I'm glad they caught it when they did, because I've known people who have Lyme disease that have memory loss, they have joint issues, some of them have tremors like Parkinson's disease. So I'm glad they caught it when they did. Didn't like the diagnosis. Talked to my pharmacist when I got it, because I've never been on a 30-day dose before. Like I said, I did the one-time emergency preventative dose. And one thing the pharmacists have told me is, depending on how long I may have had Lyme disease and how much it's progressed, that I may not actually experience the pain relief that I was hoping to, because Lyme disease does damage your joints. So depending on how long I've had it would depend on if I have any joint damage on top of, you know, the injuries I've had for years, and how bad my joints were actually damaged. So we're going to do the 30-day dose. We're going to see where we go from here. Hopefully it does start relieving some of the pain that I've actually have had, and hopefully we caught it early enough that I don't have any of the other things that can come with Lyme disease, like kidney failure, facial paralysis, tremors, memory loss, and stuff like that. But we'll see. But anyway, beautiful day today. It is autumn. It's still very green out here for the end of September. I am very, very surprised. The changing of the leaves is happening late this year, or I should say the bulk changing of the leaves. We had leaves start actually change at the end of July this year, which was pretty unusual, but we've had so much rain over the summer and going into the fall that I'm just wondering if it actually delayed a lot of the changing the leaves already. I mean, with coming up on October, here in southern New England, I should be seeing more color than what I'm actually seeing. Should not be so green, but Anyway, we're gonna get this hike on. Like I said, I'm at Bull Hill Preserve and in Woodstock, Connecticut. It's part of the Wyndham Land Trust. As you may have seen, guy went by me. He was on a mountain bike. Most of the trail that I'm on today is actually looks to be a dirt fire road coming in. Now, to come up into the parking area, you've got to take a dirt road, which I had to be a little bit careful with the sedan that I drive because it is a little bit washed out. I'm parked next to a Subaru Outback, which is a little more elevated, so they will not have problems. But with the sedan, there was a couple places I just kind of had to navigate to make sure that I wouldn't bottom out or anything. So we're going to take you up the trail, and we're going to see exactly what this place looks like. It's supposed to have some good views according to the all trails. So we'll get the hike on, and we'll see you out on the trail. So I love when I walk out on the trail, and I always find inspirational messages, whether they're painted rocks or whatever. But tacked up on this tree, it looks like somebody actually did some wood burning and put a sign up that says, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved." I can't think of a more inspirational message than that. You know, Jesus died for our sins, and if you believe on him, you will be saved. You will go to heaven. Doesn't mean your life is actually going to be totally perfect, but he will walk with you, guide you through circumstances. If you just look and see the little blessings in your life that have come about when you need them, you know, I just can't think of anybody else to worship, especially with what our country is going through right now. So no matter where you stand on what side of the political fence, yeah, there's just a lot going on in our country, and a lot of divisions that we just need to pray about. So I want to just pray every day that Jesus heals our land, opens our hearts. You know, we seek forgiveness through him and everything. So anyway, back on my hike. So I came upon this little open area over here. I thought there would be something to see here, like a field or something, but no, it looks mostly to be an old gravel lot of some point. But one thing I did notice is it looks like possibly somebody has done some dumping over here. Now this stuff looks pretty old, like it's been here for a long time. Although there's some recent trash, but yeah, looks like people had come up here, did some dumping. Not sure how well the camera is picking it up, but some of the rocks over here are actually cut. And there's a big huge rock behind the trees over there, and then there's another cut rock over there. So wondering what may have been back here. Like I said, this is part of a land trust, so usually when corporations or the town buys up land, they're usually old homesteads or their old farmland or whatever. So it's possible there could be a few cellar holes around here in the woods somewhere. But we're going to continue up to the viewpoint. So at this point in the trail, the viewpoint does cut off up to the right, but as you can see by the equipment that's straight ahead, they are actually doing logging back here. So it is an active logging site, so you do got to be careful. But the viewpoint cuts up to the right over where this gate is. And of course there is a bunch of more signs. So apparently the property is protected by cellular camera surveillance, so any violations will be prosecuted. And again, they got another sign up saying that this is a logging area. Doesn't look like any of the log trucks have come through this area though. There's a bunch more equipment and piled up logs down where I turned off. But this is the trail going up to the viewpoint. Alrighty, so I'm walking up the trail and I spotted this red thing, and this has probably got to be one of the biggest mushrooms I have ever seen growing out of the side of a tree. So we're gonna go back here and take a look at this thing. Wow. Yeah, look at this thing. Wow, that is like totally gorgeous. Look at that mushroom, how big it is. And as you can see, if I get down low, it's just growing out of the side of this stump. I'm going to set you down so I can give you a perspective of how big this mushroom actually is. So yeah, this thing is absolutely huge. So give you a perspective, I'm going to try not to trample on all these other mushrooms, but as you can see, by the size of my hand, I wish I had a tape measure on me. So it's actually probably about 2 of my hands across, and from the base goes from about the tip of my fingers all the way up to my wrist. So that is one of the biggest mushrooms that I've actually come across. And with the color and everything, it's just absolutely gorgeous, especially the way the light is picking it up. Like I said, I'm trying to be careful and not step on the other mushrooms that are popping up, but wow, yeah, that thing is absolutely gorgeous the way the light's hitting it. Give you another top-down shot of it. I mean, that is probably one of the biggest mushrooms that I have actually seen. Now I also come across this. Let me see if I can get over here. At first I thought maybe this was a sinkhole. I'm not sure how well the camera is actually picking it up. Let me try to zoom it out a little bit. And I'm going to get a view from the other side as well. I thought maybe at first this was a sinkhole, but I'm seeing some stones that look like they were actually cut. So I'm not sure exactly what this was. There's some logs that were down that have no bark on them that were cut too, so possibly used as telephone poles in the past, or radiographs and telegraph poles. Let's see if I can sneak out of here. So I'll get you a shot from this angle as well. You can see the cut stones and how it's kind of like a round circle. So I'm not sure exactly what that was in the past. This fallen log has a lot of holes in it. Possibly from woodpeckers or maybe something else through the years of when they were used, but okay. Back on up to the viewpoint. Alrighty, well, looks like I come across what may have been an old building of some sort. It's kind of interesting because you got the platform here. Looks like you got the roof over here that has been set down aside. I can see where the cornerstones were. So the roofing material is, well, actually there's several roofs. You got like a plastic vinyl, and then you got shingle. Of course, it's all moss covered. over here looks to be some sort of fire pit. A rather large one. I'll tell you one thing though, I am seeing a lot of acorns, so they say if you see a lot of acorns in the fall time, it's a sign it's going to be a bad winter. So I'm not sure exactly if that's true or not, but I am seeing a lot of acorns this year. So yeah, it looks like there was some sort of building or shelter, and there's actually a porta potty up back here. Porta potty that's been spray painted camouflage. Does have a lock on it, although the hinge is busted, and yeah, that porta potty's seen better days. It's been spray painted, but I'm not sure if this was a old type of camp or something, but it's interesting to find this out in the middle of the woods. So there's a label on that says Sandy Can. I'm not sure if Sandy Can's even still in business. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was a type of camp or not back here. Okay, so we shouldn't be far from the viewpoint now, because the person who plotted this out on the Old Trails map, this is one of the turnoffs that they took, and then where he ended his hike appears to be just a few hundred feet up ahead. All right, so it definitely looks like I'm coming out on some sort of opening up here. This might be the viewpoint. Yeah, I'm definitely at the top of the hill now. I don't know how well you're going to see that. Try to get to a better angle. I don't know how well you're going to see that view through the trees over there. This would probably be awesome if the fall colors were out. Like I said, they seem to be running late this year. So let's continue on. All right, so this is the view from the top of the hill. Not sure how much the camera is going to pick up this time of day. It's quite hazy. I'll try to do something about that in post-processing. And as you can see, there is absolutely no autumn foliage at all. It's very late this year. But there is one guy up here. He's got a spotting scope. I won't show him on camera for his privacy. But he said he saw some bald eagles, a couple ospreys, a couple other birds come through. So it's a great birding area as well. Try to zoom in on for you. Alrighty, so we're down back at the car now, and I sat for a long time on top of that hill, just taking in the view, chatting with the guy who was doing some bird watching. And yeah, the mosquitoes are still a little bit bad out here. I put some bug spray on, but it only helped for a little while. But yeah, I just sat there for a long time, taking in the view, chatting with the guy who was doing some bird watching, and chatted about some geeky stuff too, about like some video editing and photo editing software that we used. Talked about his spotting scope, just a bunch of various other things. He's a photographer as well. And he even said he went up to the Berkshires like a week ago, which would have been like the time of recording this around the 10th or 15th of September. And he said, even there, the leaves have not started changing. It's late this year, so But while I was up there, I also ate a energy bar, protein bar, and man, I tell you, I gotta stop buying those things. I have not come across one yet that actually tastes good. The Kind bars are kind of okay, but man, every other one has either been absolute horrible flavor or it's like eating sawdust. And this one that I ate today, I ended up drinking almost all the water while I had on me while I was sitting up there just to try to eat that thing, and I could only eat half of it. It was just horrible. I got to stop buying those things. But yeah, it was a good day. Very beautiful area. Would have been better if we had more fall foliage. May or may not come back to this area once the leaves start changing. Depends on the other trips that I want to have planned for this year and what the foliage actually looks like. Because even the swamp maples have been weird this year. It's like they never were really that magnificent. They just like turned red and died. So yeah, but we're gonna head back home now. Not sure if there's gonna be any other scenery I'm gonna record on the way. Got some chores to do, and then if there's no more footage after this, we'll catch you in the next video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Helps out my channel, helps my videos get seen. So if there's no more footage after this, we'll see you in the next video.